Hi, my name is Brissa Nunez, and the movie that I decided to analyze for my psychology and film project is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, 2013. Name of character and background context. The main character's name is Walter Mitty. The background context is that he's a 36-year-old who works at Life magazine and is the editor and revisionist for the magazine's photography. His office is located in the basement of the building, where there is rarely contact with any others. He spends a ton of his time on a dating app of eHarmony to attract someone who works in the same building. Her name is Cheryl Melhoff. Throughout the whole movie, he has hallucinations of how he would want his life to work out, most of the time him being the hero in situations and living a much more exciting lifestyle than perceived in reality. The description of the character is he is an introvert, antisocial, disorganized, lonely, overall bland personality. He is usually someone that keeps to himself and doesn't really open up to others, which does it's better for him to work in the basement because he doesn't really see anybody. The diagnosis of the character is schizophreniform. Schizophreniform is in the schizophrenia spectrum and other psychotic disorders. Schizophreniform disorder is a type of psychotic illness with symptoms similar to those of schizophrenia but lasting for less than 6 months. Like schizophrenia, schizophreniform disorder is a type of psychosis in which a person cannot tell what is real from what is imagined. Some of the symptoms include delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, loss of interest, withdrawal from social activities, catatonic behavior. Catatonic behavior is just being very unresponsive. And to support my diagnosis, he does show hallucinations, catatonic behavior, and delusions. An example is in one of the scenes at 8:23 is where a coworker or his new boss undermines Walter in the elevator, but Walter has a totally different perspective or reaction of what occurred because he undergoes a form of hallucination, where it's how he wishes things would have gone. While he is in his state, he is unresponsive, oftentimes snaps back into reality after being physically touched or disrupted by sound. Now let's go ahead and take a small look into a video clip from the movie.
What do you do? I'm a negative pessimist. Worth the wait.
As y'all could see in that scene of the movie, Walter went into his own little hallucination where he thought he was sticking up to his boss, but when in reality he was just standing there, not saying anything, unresponsive. And here's going to be more scenes of where he experienced hallucinations, one being he's actually fighting his boss, and then the other one being where he's actually trying to talk to Cheryl Melhoff and trying to be the perfect man for her. The possible treatments for schizophreniform are psychotherapy that allow the patient to understand the disorder, and usually family therapy and group support help. Another treatment could be medications, which mainly prescribed antipsychotic drugs that can treat the many symptoms. But most often you have to remember that the disorder has a span of more than a month but less than 6 months, because if it were over 6 months, then it could be diagnosed as schizophrenia. Now, was the film an accurate portrayal of schizophreniform? I do not believe that this is an actual portrayal of this disorder of schizophreniform, for the reason that the hallucinations were very exaggerated for what may actually occur in the mind of a person with the disorder. Although it did show how the disorder can hinder parts of your life like social relationships, it does not fully cripple his ability to live what seems a regular life. Lastly is the portrayal of psychological disorders in film, which usually is an inaccurate or exaggerated view of what actually occurs to people that are diagnosed with the mental disorders. Films give the perception that people with these mental disorders or health issues are completely crazy, which leads the public to have a misinterpretation of what mental disorders really are. It also leads society to constantly throw mental diagnoses out there like, oh, that lady is totally bipolar, when actually things aren't like that. I'd like to conclude by saying thank you for listening to my review of psychology and film.